So we'll be talking about the mitochondrial arrival protocol. And if you're an entrepreneur who wakes up feeling like you've been hit by a truck, who needs 3 coffees before you can think straight and crashes again by 2 p.m., even though you eat clean, you train, you sleep for 8 hours, there's one specific thing happening at a cellular level that is causing all of it. And it's not what your doctor told you, it's not what the supplement brand told you, and it's definitely not what the peptide guys on Twitter are telling you. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what's broken, why everything you tried has failed, and the 8-week protocol I've used with close to 8,000 people to fix it permanently. Now, my name is Ryan Martin, and for over the past 17 years, I've worked with thousands of entrepreneurs and business owners operating at a fraction of their capacity. So you might think that you can solve your lack of energy by adding more supplements or changing your diet, but let me explain why that's completely backwards. You see, the reason you have no cellular energy is because your body is toxic and inflamed at a cellular level. And what do I mean by that? Well, the actual reason this is happening is because of something I call mitochondrial shutdown. And in simple terms, your power generators at a cellular level, your mitochondria, physically can't produce enough energy to power your body. So by adding more pills and potions, you're actually neglecting the root cause and at best creating expensive urine. This is why you can be healthy on paper with decent blood work, fine body composition, eating clean, and still feel like absolute trash every morning. And the problem isn't the blood work they're running. It's at a deeper level than any standard test can see. And so here's why it happens, and here is how to fix it permanently. Now, so firstly, the number one cause of mitochondrial shutdown is a dysregulated nervous system. And that happens when you're stressed all the time. The nervous system tells your brain to keep pumping out a stress hormone called cortisol. This constant stream of cortisol causes inflammation throughout your entire body. This process creates something called free radicals. And think of free radicals as tiny wrecking balls bouncing around your cells that damage mitochondria. But your mitochondria are your cell's power plant, and these are what actually make you energy. And here is where it actually gets worse for people, because instead of producing energy, those damaged mitochondria now begin to leak free radicals, and more free radicals equals less mitochondria, which equals less energy being produced. And not because of what you're eating or what supplement you're missing, but because your nervous system is causing free radical to tear up your power production. And you have to fix the stress response first, then your cells can actually recover. Now, the second cause of mitochondrial shutdown is an inflamed gut. And your gut has a lining around the inside. I want to think of it as like a little net with tiny holes. And these holes are used to let nutrients in, but they're small enough to keep everything else out. When your gut's inflamed from the stress and junk food, that lining begins to break down. And things like undigested food, bacteria, and toxins start leaking through, and they go straight into your bloodstream. And your immune system panics and launches an attack to try to fix a problem in the form of inflammation. Remember, we said inflammation causes free radicals and they destroy your mitochondria. So now you have two sources of inflammation, your stress nervous system and an inflamed gut. Because, both of these cause the mitochondria to produce less energy. And the final cause of mitochondrial shutdown is a blocked detoxification pathway. Okay, and this is where your entire problem escalates rapidly. Your body has a system for getting rid of all the waste, but in most people, this system is completely clogged up and it's split into two major parts. So first is your colon. Okay, and when it comes to the colon, this is your exit route for all waste, but years of processed foods, not enough fiber, and stress leads to piles of rotten fecal matter and plaque blocking up the exit. So now toxins have nowhere to leave, and they end up being reabsorbed back into an already inflamed system. And what happens here? It just drives more inflammation, meaning less energy being produced by mitochondria again. And the second part is your liver. Now, your liver is your body's main filtration system, meaning every single toxin, chemical, medication, you name it, is processed here and packaged up for removal. But because the waste exit is blocked up, the liver becomes overwhelmed with waste to process, and it starts to form stones and fatty deposits, causing it to get backed up and inflamed. And once that happens, the liver simply can't do its job anymore. And toxins that should have been filtered out just recirculate around your body, causing more inflammation. I want you to think of it as, it's like a water filter that's so blocked up that it pushes dirty water back around the system instead of cleaning it. And most people have never cleaned their colon or liver in their life. So they've got a blocked exit and a clogged filter, and it's a never-ending cycle of inflammation that cripples your mitochondria's energy output. So, while everyone else, as I say, is throwing more supplements at your problems, the only real way to fix this at the foundational level is to regulate the nervous system, heal the gut, unblock the detoxification pathways, and rebuild the mitochondria. Okay, so now I'm going to explain the exact 3-step mitochondrial revival protocol you can use to get superhuman energy without stimulants in less than 8 weeks, so you can finally solve that constant exhaustion once and for all. And once you follow this, you'll never have to worry about no energy again. You'll finally unlock the kind of energy that you had when you were 25, the energy where you can actually run your business full capacity all the time. And what I developed over 17 years and close to 8,000 people, 8,000 clients, is called the Mitochondrial Revival Protocol. And so this is what makes it different from every other healing approach you come across. Most people, when they try to fix their energy, they just jump straight to the loud stuff, the supplements, the stimulants, the peptides, the fancy biohacking gadgets. And it doesn't work for one simple reason. Your body is too inflamed and too toxic to actually use any of it, and too stressed. You can pump the cleanest fuel in the world into an engine, but if the engine is cold with sludge, it's not going to go anywhere. And the mitochondrial revival protocol works because we do it in the right order, the correct sequence. We clear the system first, or actually we put the fire out first, then we clear the system, and then we rebuild it. And that's why we get results in weeks that people can't get in years of throwing money at supplements and biohacking gadgets. So let me walk you through each step. Now, step 1 is nervous system deactivation, and we start by pulling the body out of a chronic stress response. And this is the biological prerequisite for everything else that follows, because if your nervous system is locked in flight, nothing in step 2 or 3 will work. You'll spend money on supplements and detoxes and feel nothing, because your body is still running in survival mode, and survival mode doesn't allow repair. Now, the single biggest lever here is in specific breath work and eye movements and vagal nerve toning. Very simple one that we use, the 4-second inhale through the nose, then an 8-second exhale through the mouth. And the longer exhale and inhale, that is the key, and it's the whole point. Now, 3 minutes of this 3 times a day will absolutely change things for you. Morning, midday, and before bed. And it isn't woo-woo. The longer exhale directly signals safety to your nervous system through the vagal nerve, and it shifts you out of fight and flight, and you can actually feel the shift after the first session. Now, if you pair that with removing the inputs that are keeping you in fight or flight, coffee before food, doom scrolling first thing in the morning, alcohol, late night work sessions on the laptop, these are silent cortisol triggers, and they keep the system locked in no matter what else you do. And then you can actually add the somatic side. So shaking, walking in nature, cold exposure if you have access. And if there's stored trauma in the body and in the system from years of high stress and at that level, and can add issues. So you need to work through that too, because the emotional load is actually a physiological load as well. The body doesn't know the difference between a real threat and a constant low-grade pressure of running the company. And so using this CNS deactivation, the shift happens within 6 days. Even for people who have been chronically stressed for years. I've had multiple clients who've been locked in stress for over a decade, and within 6 to 12 days, I'll say 6 to 12 days, the anxiety and stress they've been living with for years starts to lift. In fact, within 6 days, it starts to lift. With 12, it can be a completely different person. And that is when the nervous system comes back online. And this is the key factor that most will miss. Your sleep is broken at the hardware level when you're stuck in fight or flight. Your pineal gland stops producing enough melatonin, so your body can't run a proper sleep-wake cycle. And so no matter magnesium or blue light glasses fixes broken hardware, you have to get the nervous system out of crisis mode first. So once we do that, sleep starts restoring itself naturally, and every hour of deep sleep is when cellular repair actually happens. Here's me in my throat. It's when cellular repair actually happens. This is when your mitochondria recover. So step 1 makes everything else possible. Now, step 2 is deep cellular detoxification. And once your nervous system is out of crisis, we go after the toxic load. And while your stress response has been running, your mitochondria haven't had the energy to get rid of toxins. So step 2 clears the toxic burden in a specific order. So the first objective is to heal the gut, to strip out all inflammatory foods such as processed junk, sugar, dairy, gluten, wheat, and soy, anything with ingredients a 2-year-old can't pronounce. Then you only eat easy to digest foods like soups, bone broth, and fruits. This restriction only lasts a few days, and it's easy to get through, but you must still avoid junk food, dairy, and so on for a little longer. Okay, now pair this with the targeted supplements you'll be taking for healing the gut lining, such as marshmallow root, ano, probiotics like Naturoflora and P3RN. The whole goal here is to give the gut a total rest so the lining can actually start to seal back up. It's like to keep picking a scab, it never gets a chance to fully heal. Okay. Then comes the colon. After years of having foods where you're getting undigested food and mucilage plaque, they build up. You run a 5-day cleanse using juices, binder cocktails, oxy powder, specific supplements, and we do things at night, salt water flushes. This allows the exit to be completely clear for the next step, which is your liver. And your liver is your master filtration system. But most people are operating with the liver at somewhere between 10 to 20% of its optimal capacity. And simply having juices, isn't enough. We need to have juices with cleansing cocktails, lemon of minerals, the side of vinegar, taken 3 times a day, binders in the afternoon to grab hold of toxins that are released. Then days 5 and 6, you flush everything out with Epsom salt and olive oil. And by the end of step 2, the toxic load that's been destroying your mitochondria for years is cleared. Now your body's master antioxidant, glutathione, starts to rebuild naturally because the liver isn't drowning anymore. It's not drowning in toxins. And that's what actually neutralizes the waste your mitochondria have been swimming in, okay? And so a 2008 UC San Diego study published in Biological Psychiatry found that sustained stress depleted glutathione by over 40% in the prefrontal cortex alone, okay? So that's 40%, that's nearly half the brain's primary antioxidant defense gone from stress alone, before you can even factor in poor sleep or inflammatory food. So when you clear the load, your body starts restoring things on its own, and that's how it was designed to work. Then we've got step 3, which is the mitochondrial restoration, and steps 1 and 2, they stop the damage and clear the poisons. Now, step 3 is where we rebuild your mitochondria from the ground up. This is the part most people try to do first, and it's the reason they get nowhere. And then they jump straight into the supplements, the biohacks, the red light pails, and the cold plunges. And none of it works because the body isn't ready to use any of it. So step 3 works now because the nervous system is out of crisis mode and the toxic load is cleared. The same supplement that did nothing 6 weeks ago suddenly starts working. The same workout that used to wreck you for 3 days now actually builds you. And so this is where most people get everything wrong. They think mitochondrial restoration is about stacking 15 supplements and buying expensive equipment. It's actually not. There are really only 2 things that move the needle, and the rest is just noise. So the first is feeding your mitochondria, okay, the raw materials they've been starved of for years. And you do this with good food first, okay? Grass-fed meat, pasture-raised eggs with yolks, wild-caught fish, organ meats like beef liver once a week or in capsule form if you can't stand under the texture. Liver is nature's multivitamin, very, very powerful. It's loaded with exact B vitamins you need, iron and copper your mitochondria use to actually produce energy. You also eat carbs, sweet potato, normal potato, butternut, squash, etc. Low diets crash thyroid function in chronically fatigued people, and your body reads it as another stress signal. So the whole point here is to get out of stress. Then you layer in the supplementation that actually pulls weight, okay? Most people just stack a load of supplements without realizing what they're doing or what the actual job of them is. So your mitochondria don't just need fuel, they need antioxidant defense system to be intact, because without it, the ATP production process itself generates damage faster than it can actually repair. So the real stack is built around restoring 2 things, okay? The first is cofactors that produce ATP, so CoQ10, magnesium glycinate, 400 milligrams for bed, a good B complex, and carnitine, okay? And second, the cofactors that rebuild your glutathione system, which is your body's master antioxidants, like NAC, alpha lipoic acid, selenium, zinc, and vitamin C. Now, this isn't a random stack. These are exact compounds your cells use to make energy and protect themselves while doing it. And most people just stack one thing and another and wonder why nothing happens. They forget the 40 bottles people forget the 40 other bottles people try to sell you. Now, the second is morning sunlight. This is the single highest thing in the entire protocol, and it's completely free. Now, within 10 minutes of opening your eyes, get outside and get 10 minutes of sunlight directly into your eyes, no sunglasses. This is the one thing that anchors your cortisol purge in the right place. It pulls cortisol forward into the morning where it belongs, so it can drop in the evening when you need to sleep. Your mitochondria do most of the repair work during deep sleep, so if your cortisol is inverted, you never get there, and the rebuild never happens. And I tell every client this is the cheapest, easiest win in the entire protocol. The ones who actually do it consistently are the ones who get out what they put in. They get the most energy and they get out of them being exhausted the fastest. The ones who skip it stay stuck no matter what else they do. So you need to stack the right food, the right supplements that actually matter, and 10 minutes or more inside every day, and your mitochondria don't just recover, they simply multiply. Your body literally builds new cellular power plants, okay? And when you do this, this is when, the body actually starts to function properly. This is when people stop needing coffee to function, okay? This is when you can wake up before your alarm. This is when you can hold a 6-hour focus block without crashing, without, even when they get the constant low-grade exhaustion that's been running in the background for years. That just finally lifts, not because you're medicated, but because the body chemistry that was generating is no longer running, okay? That entire goal, a body that runs the way it was designed to run, without needing to prop it up without 1,000 things. So I want to tell you about Josh Monzano. And Josh runs a 7-figure business in LA. He came to me in early 2024 after getting rushed to hospital with pancreatitis. So severe, his doctors told him if he didn't change something fundamentally, he was going to lose the business he'd spent his entire life building. Now, Josh was a guy who already tried everything. Years of supplements, 2 functional medicine practitioners, the usual battery of pharmaceuticals, and nothing held. And he was a definition of healthy on paper, but falling apart underneath. And within 4 months on this exact protocol, Josh had completely reversed his pancreatitis. He completely changed his life, and he went on to have the best year in his business. Right after, he told me, he had more energy and clarity running the company than he had in years. And also, he'd got his wife pregnant, something that he struggled to do previously. And Josh isn't a one-off. A woman named Debs came to me with chronic fatigue so severe she couldn't have walked for nearly 2 years. Doctors told her she'd only get worse, but she had a complete recovery. She rated the protocol 10 out of 10. And there's Gary Rothwell, the guy you're seeing here, another entrepreneur who had Raynaud's and issues, and he had chronic inflammation. And within a few weeks, he completely healed his gut and improved his Raynaud's by like 85 to 90%. Got rid of the painful inflammation that was controlling his life. I said over 7,500, close to 8,000 people have now gone through this protocol over 17 years, and the pattern's always the same. Once the system is cleared, once the nervous system is recalibrated, the system's cleared, the body does what it's designed to do. And you're probably asking yourself, how is this different from what I've tried before? We're doing what most of my clients did before they came to me. You're probably healthy on paper, you eat clean, you train, you take the supplements, your blood panels look fine, and yet you still feel exhausted every day. And the real reason nothing has worked is because when your mitochondria are damaged at a cellular level, the body can't use the vitamins and minerals and nutrients you're supplementing with. And you're trying to fix the cellular problem using additive solutions. So once you restore mitochondrial function, then your body's suddenly able to use what you're giving it. So for targeting the root causes of fatigue, the next natural thing that happens is you maximize your energy production at a cellular level. And so here they're asked about peptides. Now, everyone on Twitter is pushing them right now. BP, C1570, B500, Ibifadon, the whole stack. Let me be straight with you. The peptide industry is sending you a shortcut to a problem you can't shortcut. Peptides are signals. They tell your cells what to do. But if your cells are inflamed and toxic and dysregulated, you physically can't hear the signal. You're sending instructions to a phone no service. That's what you're basically doing. I've watched entrepreneurs drop $5,000 a year peptide stacks and feel nothing, because peptides aren't fixing the reason the mitochondria are broken in the first place. They're just adding another layer on top of a broken foundation. So your body already knows how to heal itself. It doesn't need a foreign signal injected into it to do that. It needs you to stop poisoning it and give it the conditions it needs to repair. And that's what this protocol does. And once you've done it, you don't need the peptides at all. That's not my opinion. That's actually what I've watched happen with hundreds of clients who've come to me already burned by the peptide routine. And so if you think you won't have time for the protocol because you're too busy, the protocol actually fits into your existing day. And we're not adding hours of work. We're swapping out the things draining you and adding back the things that actually move the needle. So the ROI in your time actually has insane upside. You get more energy back, more focus back, more hours of high performance in the day. And that's actually the trade. Now, I know it might seem like a lot. You're busy, you're trying to balance your business, your personal life, and all the responsibilities in between. But here's the actual thing. Time will pass either way. You'll either become more fatigued, anxious, foggy in a year from now, or you'll become a version of yourself that operates at full capacity. I've been able to build a business coach, over the last 17 years, and I've coached close to 8,000 people over 17 years. And if anywhere in the world I won, that's only possible because of the energy I unlocked using this exact protocol on myself first. So, I run a coaching program that gets these kinds of results consistently. And I'll be honest though, it's hands-on. And so I can't take on a lot of people. This is actually key. And so the application is in the description. It's not for everyone, but if you're serious and you want real results faster, without trial and error of doing it yourself, I want you to apply it with a consultation call. We'll go through your systems, we'll go through your symptoms, your history, what you've tried. I'll map out exactly what's happening and the right path forward. And if it's a fit, I'll walk you through what working together looks like, a custom protocol. Bill. And I run a coaching program that gets these kind of results consistently. And I'll be honest though, it is hands-on, so I can't take on a lot of people. Application link is in the description below. It's not for everyone, but if you're serious and you want results faster without trial and error, and without having to do trial and error yourself, what I urge you to do is book a consultation call. We'll go through your symptoms, your history, what you've tried, and we'll map out exactly. Now, I run a coaching program that gets these kind of results consistently. And I'll be honest though, it is hands-on. I can't take on a lot of people. So the application link is in the description. It's not for everyone, but if you're serious and you want results faster without trial and error on yourself, apply it with a consultation call and we'll go through your symptoms, your history, what you've tried, and I'll map out exactly what's happening and the right path forward. So if it's a fit, I'll walk you through what working together looks like. Custom protocol built around your schedule, fully guided with one-to-one access to me. If it's not a fit, I'll tell you. I'd rather be straight with you and waste your time. Ryan Martin, enjoy, and yeah, I'll speak to you soon.